I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene Edwards and you're watching Lubed. This is my game review for game number 1 of the Western Conference semifinal matchup between the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. 15 goals. 15 goal game 1. This was crazy. This was beyond insanity, this game. So many storylines in this game, and I'm going to touch on a lot of it here. I'm going to just post the scoring summary right now because I'm not going to go over the scores. There's just too much other content I want to talk about regarding this game. So you guys can look at the scoring summary right here. And then I'm going to obviously get into some of the stats and break down this game and break down some of the events that happened in this game. Okay, so we're going to start. There were 16 goals in this game, okay? To put this into perspective, this is the highest amount of goals that the Edmonton Oilers have been in a playoff game combined with another team in a playoff game in their history, okay? We go back to Gretzky, we go back to Messier, we go back to Anderson, Coffey, you name it. We go back to that great era where everyone was scoring and goaltenders were wearing pads half the size, basically. And they didn't do the butterfly and they didn't do any of that stuff and they kicked their leg out and all that kind of stuff. Okay? We surpassed that total. The highest total prior to that in an Edmonton Oilers game was, I think, ironically enough, against the Calgary Flames. It was a 10-2 shellacking back in 1983. This was 9-6. This was unreal. This also now is the second highest combined goals by two teams in the NHL playoffs in the history of the NHL. It's the second highest. The highest is actually 18 goals. We were 3 goals off the highest in NHL history. And then another record that was set. The 2 fastest goals from the start of a playoff game in NHL history. Calgary now has that record, as the first 2 goals happened within 51 seconds. Like my mouth dropped on the second one. Like this was crazy. Let's be honest, this was a crazy game. Crazy game. That's all I can say. Absolute nuts. And then there was something that happened in amongst the chaos. But there was a play where Shillington basically grabbed McDavid's face and threw him down to the ice. He got a penalty for interference or for roughing or something. So he gets 2 minutes. A scrum ensued. It was Kane and Chichuk roughing it up in the corner. They both get roughing minors. But for whatever reason, Shillington getting the first penalty was the last to leave the box. And apparently this is okay. Like, if there's 2 guys, according to Elliot Friedman's comment, I'm going to get to that right away. If there's 2 guys that are in the penalty box, they can declare, apparently, who they want to come out of the box first. Which is stupid, because I think who creates the foul should be doing the time. It's like It's like a car thief and a murderer or something like that. Well, you're gonna swap out. You're gonna say, "Well, I'm gonna take the car thief's time instead of the murdering time." Like, no, like you do the crime, you do the time, right? Like it should be that player. The reason why this bothers me is because Tkachuk ended up scoring a goal. I think that was either his second or his hat trick goal, and yeah, he got a hat trick. It was crazy. It was just a bizarre game. But I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried because I really do believe that this was the hype getting to the Oilers. And they were on the losing end. If you remember Game 1 against the Los Angeles Series 2, they just came out and they didn't play. They didn't settle in. The nerves got to them. I think we're going to see a much better Game 2. I'm worried that we're going to see some of the same, though, in Game 3 when they come back home to Edmonton. So let's hope that they nipped it in the bud, and let's hope that, like last series, when Mike Smith had a bomb effort or made that misplay in Game 1 with LA, where he fed the puck up the ice, he was solid after that. Let's hope that Mike Smith returns to the Mike Smith we know, and to the Mike Smith that will save us and win us a series. So yeah, lots to digest. This might be a longer video than normal, and I do apologize. I'm not even going to go over the scoring summary because there's just too many goals. I will mention a few of the players and what they did, but okay, let's go into what the players did. Okay, so for the Oilers, Zach Hyman had 2 goals. McDavid, 1 goal, 3 assists, and he was actually a -1. 1 goal, 3 assists, and a -1. That's just kind of the idea of the sums up the night. Draisaitl, one goal, 2 assists, -2. Archibald was a -2. Like, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of minuses. Yeah, it was bizarre. Okay, let's dive into the actual team stats for this game. So for shots on goal, it was 48-28 for Calgary. Edmonton led in hits by 1 with 23-22. Faceoffs 1. Edmonton actually led that, winning 52.7% of the faceoffs. Power play opportunities, Edmonton had 4, were unable to score. Calgary had 3. They did get a power play goal. Total penalty minutes, 12 for Edmonton, 16 for Calgary. Calgary led in the takeaways with 16-13, and giveaways. Edmonton gave the puck away 20 times in this game to Calgary's 8. That's an ugly stat. So, getting back to that play on Shillington, it even had the likes of Ryan Whitney going to Twitter, and basically, so what he said was, wait, why the hell is Tkachuk on the ice? Question mark, explanation mark, explanation mark, question mark, question mark. And then he followed up that with, they're not even going to talk about this on TV. I'm losing my mind. What the hell is going on? So this is a former NHLer, host of Spitting Chicklets, or one of the co-hosts of Spitting Chicklets, chiming up about this. He didn't even know about this. So I imagine most of the fan base didn't know. I sure the hell didn't know. So Elliot Freeman gave us the explanation on it. And Elliot Freeman replied, explanation on Tkachuk leaving the penalty box before Shillington. Flames can declare when penalties are assessed who will leave the box first. They chose Tkachuk. I'm like, really? That's a rule? I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that were stunned about that and didn't understand that rule. Because, well, I know I wasn't, because I didn't know that you could do that. Basically, choose who you want to leave the box first. Very interesting. Okay, so for Game 2, right now Covers has the Oilers or actually has the Flames ahead, 59% to win the game 2. I'm going to go into some of the trends. For a couple of the hot trends that the Oilers have is the Oilers are 5-0 in their last 5 Friday games. The Oilers are also 7-1 in their last 8 when the opponent allows 5 or more goals in the previous games. So the Oilers usually have a good response coming into it. One of their cold trends, however, is the Oilers are 1-5 in the last 6 conference semifinal games. But that goes back a long ways. As far as Calgary's trends go, the Flames are 7-1 in their last 8 after allowing 5 goals or more in their previous game. And the Oilers are 7-1 in their last 8 versus the Pacific. So they do have a pretty good grip on the Pacific Division teams. Yeah, this is something I never mentioned in my preview video that I did with Sammy. But I'll just run by it quickly. The head-to-head matchups that you have, what happened during the regular season, where they lined up. So when it came to goals, Calgary was 6th in the league. Edmonton was 17th in the league. When it came to shots on goal, Calgary was 3rd. Edmonton was 10th. When it came to power play percentage, Calgary was 10th. Edmonton was 3rd. When it came to face-offs, Calgary was 11th. Edmonton was 8th. Came to shooting percentage, Calgary was 12th. Edmonton was 11th. For defensive stats, for goals allowed, Calgary was very good with being in 3rd place overall in the league with a 2.51. Edmonton was 18th in the league. Shots on goal, Calgary was 5th. Edmonton was 21st. As far as penalty minutes, Calgary was 22nd. Edmonton was 10th. So Edmonton's a little bit more disciplined. And then when it came to the penalty kill, Calgary was 6th. Edmonton was 17th. So it gives you an idea of what was what going into this series. Mike Smith has a 915 save percentage. Jacob Markstrom a 922. So Jacob Markstrom slightly better. But I'll tell you what, both goalies in that game, like all 3 goalies really, really didn't look good at all. At all. Your stars for the game, all Calgary: Matthew Tkachuk, Rasmus Anderson, and Blake Coleman. Matthew Tkachuk obviously with the hat trick. Anderson, he had a goal and 2 assists. Blake Coleman had 2 goals. That's I'm really baffled about this game. The records, the play where Schillinger was in the box and didn't come out, and Tkachuk came out for it. Like, there's a lot to chew on this game. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm thinking that the Oilers are going to have a bounce-back game. I think they're going to play a lot tighter. They need to play better defensively. Like, the best comment I heard was the post comment from Woody when he says, if we're not winning games when we're scoring 8 goals, we're doing something silly, like super wrong, basically. Like, you have to be winning those games. Those are unexcusable to get 6 goals and lose the game. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you tonight. I hope that the Oilers bounce back and have a better outing tomorrow night. They did make this game interesting. You know, there was a time watching this game that it was, 6-2 for Calgary, and Edmonton came back and clawed their way back to tie it at 6. Because when it was 6-2, I was like, do I really want to stay up and watch the rest of this? You know, I do work a very early morning. And, of course, obviously they did tie it up, and I stayed up to watch the whole game. But, I mean, I was just prepared to watch the 3rd period today and then give you my full report on the game. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for tonight. Let's see what the Oilers can do tomorrow night. I'm a strong believer that they will have a bounce back game, and we will be tied after tomorrow night. You guys have a good night. We'll talk to you guys soon. Oiler fans, the #1 fan base in North America. If you guys like the content that Sammy and I bring you, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and leave messages in the comment section below. We will talk to you soon. Have a great night.